votes again?
Butcher. Don't let her do that to you.
Scooch.
No.
Get in the
Butcher,
middle.
over here.
No, get in the middle.
Come sit on my lap.
Butcher, come here. He
Come
never,
sit on my lap.
never does what we want him to.
I know. He's his own man.
A free spirit.
He is.
Ooh, but my seat is so warm. Toasty butcher seat.
I love it.
All right, well, let's do this thing.
Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Hello, we're back.
Oh, please stop yelling.
Back from a long weekend of schmoozing.
Why are you yelling?
I'm not.
So loud.
I'm actively trying to whisper.
It's just...
You're hurting?
I'm hurting. I am not well.
Oh, poor thing.
I am not well. I just get so excited during fight weeks when I'm not fighting because it's like a vacation. You see people that you haven't seen in so long.
Yeah.
Everyone's super excited, and most people are kind of confined to like the hotel so they can be like accessible to their fighters. So you just end up drinking at the hotel lobby bar.
And it becomes the hottest spot in town.
It is.
For MMA fans, we probably shouldn't say this, but guys, you're getting the inside scoop. If you can figure out where the fighter hotel is, if you hang out at the bar long enough, you're going to run into your favorite fighter on that card.
Yep.
I'm just
All
saying.
of them.
Even the Muslim ones who do not partake, they still have to walk by.
Yeah. Mostly what happened was people trying to get to the elevator and then people just coming with selfies and like, their cameras taking selfies while they were walking.
No, I got a really good video of you in front of the parade of Islam fans.
It was for me.
It was like,
They
oh
were
my
cheering
God.
for me.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got to post that. It was
were.
pretty funny. But like it was a sea of people and I was trying to capture Islam and I think I got like a flick of his face, but I think I saw it right before I started recording. But this huge sea of people, it must have been at least 50 people just surrounding him, chanting. It was a pretty fun kind of scene, you know.
Who's the little guy that they were hoisting up in the air?
How was it him? I thought it was like a kid.
I almost need him in the face.
Oh,
yes, it was him.
I didn't see him at all.
He is tiny.
Oh wow!
Like really, I had no like. I mean, I understood that he was like a small human.
Yeah,
I didn't understand. Like he's probably like no bigger than my knee.
Like Butcher size.
Butcher size. Butcher could take him actually.
They could wear the same clothes.
They could.
Could he ride Butcher?
He could.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that he's that small. The only little person I saw was an actual child. So when
at
people,
a bar in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So when people said that Hezbollah was there, I thought they were just being like, I don't know, sizist.
No, he was there.
You think all child-sized people are the same? How dare you? But I didn't get like a good glimpse of him. But I'll take your word for it.
It was him.
That's cool that you got to see the famous Hezbollah. If you go in a fight shop, you're definitely more likely to find T-shirts of him than one of us.
Me. For sure.
So that's a superstar. That's a superstar that you were able to spot. But the fights were pretty amazing. We had great seats. We were lucky. We were able to snag a couple. And the arena itself, I'm really happy because I was speculating that they might cancel the show because of the fires, but we didn't really see too much of the destruction. I guess we were just south of it, so we didn't really see the smog or like any of the nastiness.
Yeah, we didn't see any of the wake of,
the
damage and stuff like that. So that was kind of nice. I think that there was a lot of concern. I mean, talking to some of the UFC staff, Heather Linden, who's the head honcho at the UFC PI.
Yeah.
And she just really cares about the fighter safety. She is the head PT. She makes sure that everybody's getting the care that they need. She's a very smart lady. So she was really concerned talking to her last night. She was really concerned about that. And then she was shocked to like not have to be worried anymore.
we know a couple people or a handful of people in LA who were really dealing with stuff, but towards the middle of the week, I feel like a lot of it cleared up. There was a lot more contained, and so things started going back to business as usual. There wasn't even more traffic than normal. It's just same old annoying LA traffic.
Yeah, once you hit that like 6:05 sign, and then you see like the 60, the 110, you see all that stuff. You're like, all right, it's still gonna start to get hectic.
Yeah.
But it only took me under 2.5 hours.
To get up here.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was really nice.
Yeah, it didn't take me long at all either. It was about 2.5. So the fights were insane. We were talking about Islam's huge celebration parade that happened in the hotel lobby bar. And man, like, did that fight go down the way that you thought it would with him versus Moicano?
I thought it was going to be more of a fight. I really saw it going like potentially the distance. Sir, what are you
down.
doing?
What are you doing? He's making your jacket more comfortable to lay on.
You know what?
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I love him. I mean, if it was Adam, I would have a conversation. But since it's
Adam's
Butcher,
over there just scratching your jacket up and spinning in
like,
circles.
Excuse me.
He's making a
You're
dog
crossing a line
bed.
with me. Yes,
out of
he's
your-
nesting. I love it.
your
Butcher
jacket.
can do no wrong in my book.
Oh my God. He's going to rip it. Butcher, lay down.
It's fine.
He's so
funny.
sad. Oh my goodness. He's showing off because he had to go to the sitter this weekend.
Yeah, he needs to like reestablish his kingdom, his domain of being the only dog.
It's just my place. I don't know what this dog smelling coat is doing here, but I'm laying on it. But yeah, with the Islam Moicano fight, it was exciting, and it did have a brief moment where I was like, oh,
The drama, yes.
he's gonna do it.
Yeah, he could.
Oh, and I don't know if you went back and watched it, but was that like a slip, or did he actually land on Islam and drop him?
I couldn't go back and watch it because it was pay-per-view and I didn't want
And we were
to
there
buy
live.
it. Yeah, we were there live. So there was no
In the
replay.
audience, it looked like he got dropped, and of course, everyone screamed, so that kind of heightens.
It adds to it.
Yeah. So if you had a better view than us, and it was obviously a slip, let us know in the comments.
It looked like it was a little stumble. I mean,
It looked like-
Moicano has that kind of power. He has really stiff punches. I love his boxing. He really utilizes his range, and he is powerful. And I thought that would be the edge that he would have against Makhachev. And, you know, for a moment, we just saw a glimpse of the possibility, but it made it, you know, really exciting. There was like everything you want in a fight all in less than 5 minutes.
Yes, and that Darce, oh my God, how nasty!
He is just so
Must
strong.
that feel.
He's so good at it.
And he uses all his back muscles.
Yeah,
So
that was a choke and a crank all in one. That one hurt.
Yeah, the Darce, if you guys don't know, it's when you are able to put the arm in the head and use that to choke, as well as your wrist on the other side. And I think I was watching a little thing that DJ did, Demetrius Johnson. He actually rolled with Islam before the fight, and he said he caught him in that Darce twice, and it hurt like a mother. Yeah. Like, for some reason, he's able to generate a lot more tightness. And DJ, he fights at 125, or at least he's fought at 125, so he has a smaller neck than what Islam's usually used to dealing with. And usually, if you have a smaller neck, it's harder to catch that bite on the choke, and he was still able to get him good with it. So he needs to drop the instructional. Drop it. I guess he probably won't until he actually steps away from the sport. But there's definitely some crazy power on it, because anyone who gets caught on it, they tap immediately.
It's one of those things that, you know, he just has so many reps, and he's just figured out exactly how to cinch it up for his body type and the right amount of pressure and angles and everything like that. He's a master at it.
Yeah, and if you watch it, it kind of reminds me of when our strength coach, Chris, he'll tell us, don't lift with your chest forward. Sometimes you want to lift with your neck up, like a mama cat is picking you up, and that gives you more strength. If you watch the slow-mo, that's what he does when he gets to Darce. He just kind of goes, and you could just see everything tightening up and that hole getting smaller. And I was just like, God damn.
Yeah, he really keeps the structural integrity of the choke intact. Whereas, some people, when you're starting to learn to choke, you want to like put your back into it in a certain way, and people end up really losing the tightness and the constriction that it can that can be applied.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he was able to get it twice in a row. I feel like that solidified his GOAT status because there's always going to be naysayers, right? Especially the way that this fight came about, the fact that Moicano only had a day to prepare. Same with Islam, but he has already fought people of his caliber before, and I think when you're defending and someone gets the opportunity right away, it's a risk, but it seemed like the risk was way more on Moicano's side.
Yeah, I believe so. That's a huge step up. And Beneil Dariush is a very talented, accomplished fighter, but completely different styles.
Yeah.
And I saw Moicano winning that fight pretty decisively. I thought it was going to be a fun fight to watch, but I just thought that Moicano had more tools, more power.
Yeah, and what number is Beneil?
Let me pull that up. I have the rankings.
Dariush.
Hold on just 1 second.
Tell me now.
Hold on. Beneil is number 9.
Okay, so it was 1 jump up as opposed to 10 jumps up, which is what he got. And you see the glimpse of what could happen if he had a camp, if he had maybe a fight or two, a win or two more, and really figured out his style. You can see that there could be a path to victory for Renato Moicano, but it was just too much against him with this matchup, the way it played out.
It was a steep hill to climb.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I was listening to, some of the clips from the post-fight press conference, and they were asking, the MMA media was asking Dana about Tsarukyan, and he basically said he's going back down.
Dude.
Back down to the pile, like he doesn't get an immediate shot again.
Yeah.
He kind of blew it in Dana's mind.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
He didn't say it at all. He said, listen, I don't know if he could have fought. I don't know this and that and the other, but you could tell that Dana was pretty perturbed that he didn't go ahead and fight.
Yeah. So, you know what happens with this? A lot of people are going to go back because remember when TJ Dillashaw did not pull out of his title fight and everyone was mad at him for his shoulder popping out 2 seconds into the fight. People are like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? Why would you waste people's time? Why wouldn't you just pull out? This is why. You can't knock a fighter for not taking that opportunity, and you also can't knock him for turning it down because either way is a double-edged sword. You have to pick which is better for you. I think with Dillashaw, he knew that this was going to be his only chance. With Arman, he's still young. Like the first time he fought Islam, he was only 22, and he's gotten so much better in that time span. Another 5 years, he could be greatest of all time. Why risk that by going in with a broken back and ruining your chances of not only fighting, but you could get really seriously injured going up against a wrestler that's probably going to wrestle you. As soon as he feels that you can't do exactly what you did last time, he's going to double down on it, and he could have really gotten hurt there.
Yeah, I think say what you want, but he had to make the best decision for him, and he made the right decision for himself. And there's going to be consequences and benefits to both of them, and he made the right decision.
Yeah. I can't believe you almost finished your drink.
I'm hurting.
We just started.
I'm trying to even out. No, you don't understand. I'm hurting.
I'm kind of flattered.
And it's delicious. I think this is the best margarita you've ever made.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
You guys, usually also I made it a little lighter because I usually make your drinks as if I'm trying to date rape you.
I can tell.
There's that. Well, I like a boozy drink, and you don't, and I always forget that until you taste it, and you're like, "Oh, I can."
And then I don't want to be rude and not finish it, but I try.
So
but like
try
my body won't let me. My body literally, like it's like we don't want to do this.
Delicious.
Like, I'm trying. I don't want to upset the Hills.
Your eyes are watering.
I don't want to upset them and offend them. But I just can't do it.
Oh, yes, I'm so proud of you. Yay.
It's really good.
Such a big girl. So what do you think is next for Tsarukyan since he has to fight up again?
Well,
before we talk about that, have you seen the rumor going around of how he blew his back out?
Oh, all of his crazy back training.
Yeah, the back training video that he did with Nina.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
there was like a compilation of all of his like crazy stretching routines and all of. I mean, he's super athletic.
Yeah,
and he's very flexible. Like it's really important. Like as you build strength to keep mobility, and he does a great job. Like he's like really, really incredible shape. And so they did this like crazy compilation of all of his workouts and stretches, and like this is how he fucked up his back.
Well, it's actually the opposite. He was keeping it from getting fucked up by keeping it nice and limber. But it was funny because that Nina drama interview, I feel like it came out a few days before weigh-ins.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, he blew his back out trying to impress Nina. And it's funny because usually you assume it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Nina's back did not get blown out in this interview.
But alone.
Yeah, it seems like a really harsh injury. I mean, you see the way that Aljo got treated when he had his injuries. He had his neck that needed surgery, a bunch of stuff. I forget what exactly, but same with Merab. Merab had a bunch of injuries that he was dealing with, and he didn't want to fight Arman or Umar right away, and they ended up still pushing him to fight at this date. So, it's like injuries happen, yes, but it's almost like it's your job to not get injured. Like that's kind of how it feels like they treat it. And so if you can hobble your way into the arena and still feel like you're going to win, it benefits you. But if you can't, you just kind of have to eat it. And even if the UFC punishes you in the long run, it might be a better choice.
I think so. I mean, how many times have we or other fighters fought injured and ended up losing, and we can't talk about it either?
No.
Like if you lose, you cannot talk about it.
That is an excuse.
If your hand is raised, talk about it all you want. You've just triumphed. You've achieved this great thing, and you faced such adversity, and we're so happy to hear about it. But yeah, a lot of times fighters, I mean, you have to continually every week you are putting your body through hell, and you're literally fighting people when you're sparring, and there's just so much room for error, and you're taking risks every single day with your health. And I mean, hats off to him for making that decision, because I know it was a really, really tough decision.
Yeah, talk all you want about Arman, but we're proud of him for doing the big boy thing and not reaching for the instant gratification thing, which is fighting for a title and maybe hurting yourself and losing a fight that you could have won. Moving down to the Merab Dvalishvili.
Oh, what a fight!
Merab Dvalishvili styling on Umar Nurmagomedov. How you gonna do Khabib legs to Umar in front of Khabib?
He's like that. He's shady like that.
He is.
I'm here for it. I am here for it.
The whole build up, you could tell that he was just thinking of all the ways he could get under his skin, and that was one of them. To take him over to that side of the cage. You know he did that on purpose.
Yes, of course he did. Merab is shady.
He's so shady. I love it. He's so petty. He's like,
I love it. And he's hilarious while he's doing it. Yes. Like, I can't be mad at all of it. Some people that showboat, I'm just like, oh, I can't. But him, I'm like,
I feel like if we were fighting and he started showboating, I'd laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just so lovable. Just a lovable scamp.
Oh, he is.
But yeah, that seemed like a real slap in the face when he was able to take him down, jump on top, Khabib his legs, and you can see Khabib going, get up, or maybe he was shouting something else, but it looked like, get up, and he couldn't because his legs were being Khabib'd. He was being mermaid-legged by Merab, but it wasn't A wash. Umar had a lot of good moments in the fight.
Yes,
The first 2 rounds was you didn't know what was going to happen, and Umar was looking good in the first 2 rounds. There wasn't a lot of action in the very first round, but he was able to land a big punch. It looked like it stumbled him, stumbled Merab, and then I was just like kind of biting my nails after that.
Yeah. Umar has power. He has speed, but the thing that that Merab did better was mixing it up, the volume and the constant level changes, going body head, and just slowly dismantled him. Like really broke him down, took him into deep waters that he hadn't been in before. Or no, he has done a 5-round with Sandhagen.
Okay, yeah.
But he took him to a place where we really saw Umar for the first time face that kind of adversity and dig deep. So I think that this was, obviously like a great opportunity and learning experience. Umar definitely delivered. He made it challenging for Merab to a certain point, but those the later rounds just really saw Merab, like his what did Adam say, his workmanship.
Yes, he's a workhorse. He just goes in there and he does more than the other person in the cage, and he won't stop until he's done more than him. I thought it was funny in the first round because they were both just feigning on each other, and you could tell that, I don't know, it seemed like they weren't ready to get going, or they were making reads or trying to catch the timing, trying to see what would be open first. Would it be a takedown or a strike? But it looked like have you ever tried to play UFC, the video game?
No.
It looked like you're playing EA UFC and you're trying to figure out the takedown button, because every time they would feint, it would be a level change and then they stand back up. It's just like this. Like oompa, for about 2 minutes, and then something started happening. But I couldn't tell at what point he broke his hand. Do you think it was that big punch he landed in the first?
It may have been the one that dropped him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because Merab was stumbled, and I mean, you throw with such power and aggression, and it's possible. You know, and that being said, that hand injury definitely affects how you move forward. And I mean, maybe not in, the first couple rounds, but by the 4th and 5th, like you're in a lot of pain. Yeah. The adrenaline is not helping anymore. Thankfully, your hand's wrapped and it's in a glove. So it's, basically in a cast for a little bit. So that helps. But I mean, he's having to fight through that is just awful.
And we have seen someone lose a finger in that cast. So it's it may hold it together a little bit, but it's not going to do everything. And you can see that the fight was getting away from him when Merab started showboating. Like, I think it was the end of the third where he had his hands around him and the body lock. Merab's just kind of going, doing his it is me, Merab thing. And then he gets up on the cage and he's going, and dude, the crowd loved him.
Oh, they loved it. But the crowd behind us were having their own battle around the third round.
Oh my God. Yeah,
it was crazy. There was
Do you think it was like Georgians and Russians or something?
It could have been,
because they did not look American.
They were not.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think anyone.
There was a heavy presence of supporters for the co-main and the main event.
Yeah. Well, when we first got to our seats, we got there during I forget his name. It was one of the Ovs were fighting. It was like the third fight. The guy with the back hair patch. You know what I'm talking about?
Is it Guskov?
Yeah, something like that. I gotta look it up to be sure, but it was the guy with the back hair. He was fighting, and I had to tell one of the people who were sitting in our row, like, "Hey, that's my seat. You can sit here right now, but yeah, that's my seat. So just letting you know," because he's like, "Oh, it's my friend. Yeah, it's Muin Gafurov was fighting." So right there, I was like, "Oh, that was probably them." And then the same guy tried to come and chat you up in order to sit next to you during the Islam fight.
Yes. There was a lot of seat hopping.
Yeah.
At this event.
Yeah. Where's security when you need it?
No, security ended up having to come.
Yeah.
They ended up escorting like 5 people out.
With police.
With police because they were resisting.
And the LAPD don't play. They do not.
They've seen worse shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they
like,
have.
We're tired
yeah.
of the bullshit.
This is actually fun for us, but you're making it not fun. Get out.
I saw a couple. I recognized a couple of them, and they had the ears. So I'm like, they're down to party too. So
Yeah,
don't try them.
That's cool. Yeah, I always feel a little safer when they have the ears. I'm like, they're not gonna overreact, but they're also not gonna underreact. They're gonna do just the right amount of ass kicking.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so the fight was going down during Merab versus Umar, and it must have been like a Georgia versus thingy because there was a lot of I guess like Georgians, Dagestani, Armenians. Like it was a huge crowd, and it was sold out like from the beginning. Yeah. So you knew that everyone was coming out. It's a huge what is it? Armenian population.
Yes.
Yeah, in LA.
Glendale.
So yeah, in Glendale. So everybody probably bought a ticket for this one.
Absolutely.
Like as soon as it was announced.
Yes.
Yeah.
All there for
We're not
boys.
waiting.
Nope.
We're going no matter what. We will fight the fire so we can go. What do you think is next for Merab? Because he kind of cleared out the bantamweight division as of right now.
Let's see it. Well, it's yeah, he has
like on his way up, and now that he's defended a few, yeah, that's everyone.
I mean, what about? Wait, you're gonna yell at me and say no. What about Jan? What about Jan?
What? When did they fight? Didn't they fight recently?
Did they fight recently?
I thought it was. Hold on. Everyone in the comments is gonna be like, "You horse!"
I know. You're so stupid. Oh yeah, he just did.
Stupid bitches. That just happened.
I would have said Figueredo, but he lost to Jan. You know, that would have been cool. Gosh darn.
Time to bring out Frankie Sainz.
Maybe they'll give Song Yadong an opportunity.
When is what is his? I thought he was booked for something. Song. Maybe he fought.
Lost to Jan. My God.
Ugh. Well, I mean, Jan could get it, I'm sure. I feel like Merab probably wants a little bit of a break though after all those injuries. He was saying that he had cuts. He had a cut on his leg and infections, and his back was broken, all sorts of things. He kind of took offense when the media was asking him about how he felt about Umar breaking his hand, because he's just like, dude,
they're already trying to discredit him.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I've been broken this entire fight camp.
Yeah. And
when I would try to go to the PI the few days that it was open during the holidays, Umar was there and you didn't let me go. So you feel horrible for him. Like, it's like you have to fight the prince of the kingdom, and you can tell by the way that you're being treated, you know?
Yeah, it's really hard because there really is blatant favoritism.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not saying that Umar didn't earn this, but his last name carries a lot of weight. And who's in his corner carries a lot of weight.
Oh, yeah.
It just does. And yes, he's an exciting fighter. He's very talented. And he was going to get a title shot eventually. But, and I mean, you know, who else is there? So I understand how this stuff you know, came about. Mm-hmm. But still, like, there just is a difference in treatment.
There is. And it probably started with his refusal to fight Aljo for the title. So we're going way back to years ago when
the UFC never forgets.
They don't forget. They're like, you're
elephants.
You're ruining our plans. We don't care about your plans. You're ruining our plans. So you need to get get with the program. And Merab has been able to do it his way. I feel like that's one of the reasons why I respect him more than anything. Like, he's done it his way. He's made the fights exciting in his way. Like, he's not knocking people out, but his fights are exciting.
They're so exciting.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He's a showman.
Yeah.
He is a showman. I saw him talking to Dana right after the fight, and Dana looked really excited.
Oh, yeah.
He did. So I'm hoping that maybe like he's cleaned the slate.
Yeah, he's finally.
He's like, you know what? I'm finally on the good side.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I hope that they realize how likable he is, how promotable he is. He needs to work on his post-fight interview skills just a little bit. He gets off track.
They were a little Amanda Nunes-esque, if you will.
He's just, Joe Rogan's a pro, so he's just, bring it in.
My back was broken and my leg was cut. And,
I'm like, what?
I don't want to. It's like when you ask a kid what happened when they did something bad and
he did it. And then there was this, and then there was like this thing, and
well, we were going to the store, and then he took a ball, and then I went with the ball, and I told him to give me my ball back, and he said no, he wasn't gonna give me the ball, and then he went. You're like, bro, take a beat, yeah. Stop! You did a great job. We just take your time.
I'm like, as much as this man practices and trains, I wish he would do a little mere practice. Just little post-fight speed practice. That's all.
I feel like it's hard for him to control his emotions. Like, I feel like you must be feeling so much like elation when you win that belt. Like, I can only imagine. And those are the times where he's kind of inaudible,
Yeah.
like that. When there's drama during the media days and he gets hit with a question that he doesn't like, all of a sudden you're just like, wait, what? But when he's calm, he speaks perfect English. It's really easy to understand him. So I think he just gets very emotional and he just tries to say all the words at once. It's not his fault, Jess.
It's not.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bantamweight division, and I mean the only person who hasn't recently lost up to number 8 is Petr Yan. So maybe that could happen, that if he gets another big win, I'm sure Merab is going to be chilling for a little bit. Then that could totally happen, especially if he comes out looking like old school Petr Yan again, like he did against Davis and Figueiredo.
No, he looked great in that fight.
Yeah.
That he's one of my favorites, and that's the first time I bet against him.
Oh,
that was the first time, just because he had been inconsistent,
Yeah.
So I was like, I
should
don't
have
know.
bet with your heart.
I know. Never again. Yes. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure that he needs to rest and recover, so there's plenty of time for another contender to evolve.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
I know, but we have to.
I
know.
First, I do want to say that one day on my bucket list is to take a picture with Merab in his hat, and I have my afro blown out.
Oh,
how cool would that be?
That would be really cool.
Yeah, and I feel like I could tease it so it looked like the same texture.
I just really want to feel the hat.
Yeah.
It looks really soft.
I want to crawl into the hat. I want to shrink myself and jump on the hat and ride it. Just
want to ride a hat.
Just go on his errands. He's like going to the grocery store. I'm in the hat. It'd be really fun. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about the thing that we don't want to talk about.
I know. Yuri looked good.
He looked amazing.
He really looked good. He on point. He capitalized on the wideness that Jamal brings in his striking. Jamal has really sharp striking, but sometimes he gets a little bit long and reaches a bit. He got caught. Jamal, I think the first time Jamal got dropped, he was throwing a kind of a pretty big uppercut, and Yuri dipped back and countered, and then the kind of fight finishing sequence started with a big reaching punch from Jamal, and then again the dip and the counter.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really being flowy out there. And I feel like when I was watching, I was just screaming head kick because he has that fast left kick, Jamal does.
Yes.
And I felt like that could have caught him if he hit it behind like the Leon Edwards thing. If he just hit it behind a straight, made it look like he was going to throw a big reaching punch like you said, and just caught him as he dipped out of the way. But he looked like he was just not really believing in the kick during this fight like he has in the others. Like you watch his fight with Glover, you watch his fight with Thiago Santos. Like he was throwing that thing and it's fast. Yeah. It's super fast. It's fast like Umar Nurmagomedov's. I was really impressed with his high kick too, his lead kick.
Yeah, he does like what is it, a question mark kick too.
Yeah,
he's really fast with it. Very dexterous. Mm-hmm. Is that the right word?
Dexterity in his legs is very impressive.
So impressive.
So I was wanting him to throw that, but the more you take damage, the more your energy goes down. You don't have the cardio that you have to push, and throwing kicks takes a lot of energy. Is why a lot of people don't throw them. Like you see people go into these boxing matches, even though they have amazing kicks. It's just because one kick takes the same energy
like 10
as
punches.
a 10-punch flurry.
It really does take the wind out of your sails.
Yeah,
but I mean, Jamal
especially
kept
when
pushing
you
forward
miss.
Especially when you it drains your energy battery. I loved his mentality, talking to him after the fight. I liked his mentality, and he's like, you know what, I'm not used to this, but like there's something to learn here. And I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Nice.
These trials are not meant to break us, where, they help us evolve and grow if you have that mindset. And I think Jamal does.
He does. And there were a lot of moments that he had in the fight too. I know he gets a ton of hate online, and it drives me nuts because as much as and I'm not saying it affected him, but it affected me. It offended me because we put our health on the line for entertainment purposes, and like, not that we're heroes or anything, but we're out here to give you something to talk about. And the hate bandwagon that has jumped on Jamahal Hill is just really disappointing to me. I feel like, he gets crap for his reaction to the knockout against Pereira. He gets crap for believing in himself. And I feel like another fighter saying the same thing wouldn't get half the hate that he gets.
It's Jamal has this ability to make people listen and get reactive. Mm-hmm. He's very quick-witted. He just is funny and sharp with his words, and I think
you know what it is? Every person online hating on him has been bullied by a Jamal. Legit.
You know what?
Legit, like everybody knew a Jamal in high school. Like everybody.
Yeah.
He was like the jock on the football team or on the basketball team, or he was just like the class clown in the back, like ragging on people. But everyone has had a Jamal in their high school, and the guys that are hating on him got bullied by him.
You might be onto something there.
I feel like there's some trauma.
Y'all taking stuff personally. You need to stop
There's some trauma that you're dealing with, and it's not him. He's not the guy. He's actually a really nice guy when you get to know him.
He's so freaking cool.
I mean, even when I first met him, he was really nice.
He's so nice.
Yeah,
he's so nice. Yeah, it's a hard one, especially sitting in the arena, and there was a very small cheering crowd for him, and it was. I mean, speaking of like, you know what? I have done a lot of work on myself. I have done lots of hallucinogenics.
Oh,
I have done lots of therapy. I have trying to heal over
it's
here.
It's therapy, guys. She's therapy. Not just getting wild.
Yes, it's not like that. But I swear, when I hear people like saying nasty stuff, and not just booze or whatever, you're cheering for the other person, but when I hear people behind me saying stuff, I'm like, man, I think I'm like really evolved and healed, but I still want to fight people. I swear. And I looked
Like-
back and I was like, too easy. It's fine.
Nah.
It's fine.
Oh man. I'm not getting kicked out of the arena for you. I know I'll win.
It'd be fun in the moment, but it wouldn't be worth it.
But then I'll miss the fight.
Exactly. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna sit here.
Oh man. Yeah, I think the big moment for me was when I tried a few times to start the USA chant. No one joined in. No. There were
I mean, there were 3 of us.
well, yeah.
There were 3 of us that did.
USA. Yes. All right, I'm gonna just watch the fight.
Woo!
America really disappoints me sometimes.
You know what? They do not get behind their people the way other countries do.
Yo, Merab's and Umar's people were fighting each other.
I know.
Ain't nobody trying to
Bring that kind of energy.
Yeah,
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on. And we heard the USA chant that night too.
We did.
We heard it. It was there. Just wasn't there for that fight. But aside from that, I thought there were some really crazy moments in that fight. And the stoppage too. I know I'm gonna get crap for this. But whenever the fight gets stopped right after the fighter paused and then he starts moving, then I'm like, ugh. It feels early.
You have to do at least a 10 count. Like give me like a few Mississippis.
Oh, you know what it's like? It's like when you're popping popcorn in the microwave.
You have to count to 10 because you know a few kernels are still popping.
Yeah,
sometimes they just take a pause.
Dude, if you take it out too early, you got all those kernels in the bottom of the bag. And you missed out on like half your bag of popcorn. You're missing out on half the fight because you took it out of the microwave too fast.
That is exactly what it's like.
Yeah. So I felt like it was a little early, the stoppage. It was just a weird time. Like he got dropped. He was covering up. It's like, okay, if they stopped it there, I probably wouldn't have been as mad. But that second delay, and then he starts to build up, and then they stop it. I'm always like,
Do you know how hard it is to build up with another human on top of you?
Huge human.
It's really hard,
and
especially
Yuri,
when they're trying to beat you up.
Yeah, and Yuri looked insanely big. He's
really
a big
did.
boy.
He is.
He looks bigger with no hair. How did that happen?
I think sometimes we end up just staring at the ponytail and we don't take in like him as a whole.
The full
just
silhouette.
Very distracted by that.
Yeah, I think of Abe's Odyssey. You ever seen that game? Yeah, and they had the little. That's what it looks like to me. But how cool was it that he gave his hair to the cancer patient? She was actually in our row. Did you see it?
I did see her.
Yeah. She was sitting over there and she was having a blast.
Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah, so it's like it's not the fact that we're upset is not because we didn't want Yuri to win. It's more so the reception of the fans and kind of relishing in the fact that Jamal lost.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, cheer for your person, but when, Jamal got his eye poked, people were just like, people were going crazy and calling him like a liar and booing. And I'm like, wait a minute, whoa. Yeah. But then when it happened to Jiri, it was like,
it's okay, take your time, champ.
Exactly.
And then they show the replay and they're like, boo, you cheater. And this is
I'm like, what the heck?
Y'all didn't care. We were laughing about it with the people next to us. Like they didn't care when Jamal got eye poked.
No.
Yeah, it goes back to that bias thing, the biases and how that can affect you, whether it's the company, whether it's the fans. Inherently you have to think that the company is trying to appease the fans. So yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe that goes into your psyche going into the fight, thinking, man, everyone
feel that
wants
energy.
I
mean, I could feel the energy.
And sometimes people are able to turn it around and use it as fuel, but I think it wears on you a bit. And I feel like with Jamal, it's gonna do the good thing. Like it's gonna be the fire under his ass
for sure.
Yeah, and get him to, really focus on those things that he's been thinking about doing, but maybe hasn't done yet. Mm-hmm. Like, it looked like he could have done some good work in the grappling department, but there was never a takedown. Just mixing things up and being able to hide his tools that have gotten him this far even better. I think he comes back a lot stronger. And 33, that's young for light heavyweight. You know, you still got a good amount of time. You got at least Glover time. At least Glover time. You got at least until you're 43 at light heavyweight to get the gold again. So he has a long time to really work on himself and come back even better, more exciting if he can possibly do that fighter.
And I mean, I think that's what draws people into fighters and rooting for them and, you know, getting behind the sport, because fighters face adversity and they do it better than anyone.
Yeah. And you know what? Like the company loves Jamal.
Oh yeah.
Like they love him. And I feel like the first couple of comments I saw when I was looking at, because I had to do it. I was bored. I was at the bar. I was like, let me just see what people are saying. No.
Don't look. Never
Why did
look.
I do
You
that?
always regret it.
But, you know, people get so excited, like, oh, he's going to get cut now. Oh, he's going to, like, you know, go to Bellator now, even though it's not existing anymore. And
shut up.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, they love him. They love that you hate him. And you commenting this about him is just going to make him stick around longer. So
this is exactly what the UFC kind of banks on. They want people to either love or hate. So you're keeping them employed, guys.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. Good job. Were there other fights you wanted to talk about?
I mean,
let's breeze through a few. I did think it was funny, Yuri's walkout song.
Oh, it's you said it was the video game?
Yeah, it was. It sounded like the song that plays when you're waiting for your screen to load in a video game. And I'm like, yo, what is this? And I Googled it, or I Shazammed it. It was from League of Legends, which I thought was very Yuri-esque. I bet he doesn't even play. I bet he just was going through samurai-esque
samurai playlist.
Yeah, what's an epic soundtrack I could walk out to? And then that popped up, and he's like, yeah, I'm a legend in a league.
Plays that on loop when he locks himself in that room.
Oh, yeah. For 3 days. Yeah, exactly. Maybe he does play the game. Who knows? Yeah, and then another thing I thought was funny is that when they were kind of showing all the different champions and celebrities and the crowd, they got to Bilal and everyone. He might have been the only person that got booed harder than Jamal this weekend.
For sure. Yeah. You know what? At first, it's kind of funny, and then you start to feel a little bad because you're like, come on, give the champ a break.
I feel bad for it. Like I know he doesn't care. He's rich and he's rich and he's the best at what he does. He doesn't care, but I thought that was pretty funny. What did you think about the Jailton Almeida versus Spivak? Sergey Spivak.
That fight could have gone either way to me.
Yeah,
and
me
it
too.
Was that one was just because Almeida's been a bit inconsistent, you know, so you don't know which version of him is going to show up, if he's filled in the gaps, but he looked really good.
He looked scary.
He looked really aggressive.
And Spivak is another guy who I don't think gets the credit that he deserves. Like, if that was my homie, I'd feel so horrible for him, because first he was getting finishes and begging for bonuses and never getting them, and then he finally got a bonus but never got like the title shot, and then he lost a couple times and just never really gotten that fandom that you would think someone would get from having that many finishes in his weight class. And so when he was a huge underdog against Jailton, I was like, he might be able to Curtis Blades this situation.
He very well could have. Like, it was, the fight was kind of a 50-50 one for me.
Yeah.
Wasn't surprised that Almeida won in the fashion that he did, but also could have seen, it going completely the other way. But it was pretty impressive. Almeida's sweep was the most impressive. That's what you call a big boy sweep.
Oh yeah, when they were on the ground.
Get off.
Get up.
And I mean, from a technical standpoint, like Spivak's hips he was a little bit like tented. He was a little bit teepeed. His hips were a little bit high, so it allowed Almeida to like really get a grip and reverse him. But it was a fun fight.
Yeah, it was fun. I was really impressed that he was letting his hands go in this. Like,
Yeah.
you don't see Spivak in trouble that much, and he really like made him look more frail than he's looked in his other fights. So it was impressive. It made me jump back on the Jalton train because before I was just like really hot on him, but then after his loss, I was like, oh okay, well maybe he still needs to go back to the drawing board, and it looks like he has. Another one that was a big upset was, well, for us. I think other people might have predicted this, but Holland versus Rainier de Ritter.
Oh my goodness.
RDR.
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 RDR is huge for that weight class.
What
by the way.
the fuck
He is huge.
But Holland is also a small 185, right? Like he should be fighting at 70, right? Or he has in the past.
The comments will let us know.
I know. It's sometimes I get it mixed up when they do
I know,
light
so do
heavy
I,
and
yeah.
or if it's welter and middle. But I think he did welter and middle.
I feel like he has done welterweight,
But
I'm going through all of the fights now. I think he's been
Rainier de
85
Ritter
for
looked
a while.
huge against him, and he just has this weird herky jerky way of moving and fighting that I thought he was going to be able to be slicker. Holland was against him.
He's almost like a Duplessis. Like he's kind of unassuming. He doesn't look super athletic.
Yeah, and it is it is welterweight and middle that he's fought at, but it looks like he's been fighting at middleweight for a little
while,
bit.
right?
Well, just the last 3 fights.
And yes, there is that aspect. The size aspect does make a difference. Like that's why we all cut weight for that advantage. But it was a pretty awkward submission too.
It was
the way he was body triangled on one side and then got what was it, as a gable grip on the downside of the choke that normally you don't lock the choke up on that side, but it was just so tight. It came on so fast, and he makes it work for him, and he gets super funky. He pressured the punch to takedown right away, got that single leg, and just started working, and kept Kevin on the defense the whole time until the fight was over.
Yeah, it almost looked like it wasn't that tight, but then you saw the replay and you could see the elbow sinking into his chest.
He really brought it over and used a lot of leverage and really hit that lock behind Holland. So it was kind of a funky way to finish it, but he made it work.
And that back take too, it was mad slow. Like I feel like he surprised.
Like, how did you not fall off?
Yeah, I feel like he surprised Holland with it working. Like he was kind of chilling. Oh, I'm just gonna slink out of this, and then he used that Kimura grip to slowly rise his hips over and get the hooks. And Holland's just like, oh shit.
He's like, you're there.
Oh no,
how did you get here?
I really didn't think you were able to do that.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
Yep.
And now I can't get you off of me. Yeah. And it sucks because I was joking right before he taps, like, oh, he's just trying to make another pose for his T-shirt. You know how he has that, like, I'm okay T-shirt that he did, but it was a tap this time.
There are other things to focus on.
Yeah. I was disappointed for Holland too, but hey, I'm excited to have this new guy in the division mixing things up. He was a champion in one, is it?
Yeah.
And now he's in the UFC. He's been impressing with his submission skills, and I don't know. I'm curious to see how far he can take it. He'll probably have a number by his name after this one. So yeah, I'm excited to see some new blood in the middleweight division.
So wait, is Kevin Holland ranked? I don't think he's ranked.
Oh, I thought he was ranked. Never mind. Maybe.
No, but
maybe he will.
It'll happen soon, honestly, at this rate. Ooh, I want to see him fight Jack Hermanson.
Ooh, that'd be a good
another
one.
Fun grapple one.
Yeah.
We still don't want to give him someone who's like a big a big like hard heavy hitter, because that's how he lost his title and won. He got outstruck and knocked out. So you probably want to give him some grappling.
Yeah, well, you have Mikel Pereira,
Oh yeah,
who's coming off of a loss. He just lost to Anthony Hernandez. So that could be a possible one. Hernandez kind of mixed everything up in the same way Derainer is able to do. So that could be.
He's an upsetter too.
Yeah.
I like watching Anthony Hernandez.
Dude, he's so fun.
He's really cool to watch.
Just like even his nickname, Fluffy.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
you're fine.
Little term of
like
endearment.
You. Yeah.
You don't mind that you have love handles. Even when you weigh in. But he's nasty, man. I got to watch him warm up, I think, during your fight week. And he just looked really good at everything.
Yeah.
Like he was throwing spinning stuff. He was going into takedowns, landing big takedowns. Just looked slick on the ground and on the feet. So I was excited to watch him fight, and then he impressed.
Yeah, he's been pretty impressive. So I mean, I'm just putting that out there, guys.
Putting it into the universe.
Yeah.
And then after that, we also had a big upset with Raioni Barcelos beating the brakes off. Well, not beating the brakes, but
I mean, he
humbling a bit. Payton
the young
Talbott
newcomer.
Yeah, and more so humbling the what do you call it? The betting lines. The betters?
Yeah.
What do you call the betters?
Betting line.
You just call it the betting line?
I believe so. The odds? The odd makers?
The odd makers, yes. He humbled.
Fuck those guys.
Humbled the odds
you
makers.
You guys can be really rude sometimes.
More
and
than
it's
anyone.
always nice when we can stick it to you.
Yeah. Like, hey, take that put that in your parlay and smoke it.
Yeah. Sucker. Yeah.
Jerks.
Barcelos, it's like if you look at his body of work, he's a really tough fighter.
Yeah.
But on paper, I feel like the matchmakers are like, Peyton's going to stun on this guy. This is going to be a guy that he can showcase on. It'll be, one for the fans. It'll help Peyton, build his resume. So I mean, I'm old. It's fine. I'm an old grumpy lady.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of nice when the hype train just gets a little humbling.
Yeah.
And I mean, and Peyton is super talented. He's young, and this fight definitely showed him what he needs to work on, which is, what competition is for. So he, has a lot of notes from this fight that he can go back and work on himself with, and then come back even stronger. And he's young, so he's got time to make those improvements.
He has tons of time. And I love seeing someone upset the odds like that. And looking at his tape before, I was kind of surprised that he was such a huge underdog. Like I definitely thought he had the most possibility for upset. I hadn't seen him really get hurt that much, except for I'm looking at now the Umar Nurmagomedov was able to KO him with a body kick, but usually he goes to decision. Usually he's a really tough fight for people, win or lose. And for the most part, he's won, except for his last handful where he started losing. And I guess, you hit that 35 mark and it starts getting a little harder to keep the streak going. But, dude, he's so impressive in the clinch. I remember just watching him hit foot sweeps and judo throws.
He had a nice Tayatoshi.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But Payton Talbott was able to get his own big throw as well against somebody like that. So I feel like he's definitely gonna, like you said, learn and get better and come back stronger. If this is the only loss in his record, he hasn't lost any street cred for sure.
No.
And it looked like there were 4 people on the card that lost their zeros at 311. So that's what happens when you fight on 311 and not 310. There's no zeros in the number. So they're like, time to get your one. Yeah, so it was a good fight though. It was a scrap. The third round especially, there was a lot of back and forth, and Raioni, he was able to get on top and just ground and pound to the finish. It was a dope fight. I hope he made some fans from the Payton Talbott fan base because like that kid, he's becoming a star really fast.
Yeah, he's pretty outspoken and a
Oh,
little.
is he?
Peyton?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking shit about Merab.
Oh, really?
Said he was like dumb as rocks or something
What?
like that. Yeah,
I didn't know anything about this.
There was an interaction at the host hotel during fight week where
What?
Merab like called him out on it in a very polite way, which is like, "Hey, you said this about me." So yeah, I mean, Peyton. After Peyton's first win, he was calling out Dominic Cruz. Like he's very confident in his skills. He's very, confident that he'll get to the top, and so he's been talking the talk a lot.
Yeah, well, he'll probably calm that down with all the, people who can mix it up well in the division. Yeah. Turn himself into a little Nurmagomedov, and then he can get back to knocking people out. Yeah, and the other fight that I wanted to talk about was Brian's guy, Bikoev. How do you say his name?
I was like, hold on, I need to pull it up. I need to see it so I can sound it out. Bikoev. So Azamat, he came to the United States about 2 years ago. He sold everything, didn't speak a word of English, and arrived at Top Team. And he's been working hard. He now speaks fluent English, and he took this fight on Monday.
Oh.
Like he got the call on freaking Monday.
Yeah.
To step in as a very, very short notice opponent, and he got his first fight in the UFC and his first KO in the UFC against a very game opponent in Zachary Reese, right?
Yeah, and it was the first KO of the night too.
Yes.
So he must have been on cloud 9 after that.
Yeah, it was a big night. Brian was so excited he spilled a drink all over me.
That was great.
It was not.
You were so mad.
I was not happy about it. I was not happy.
And then I spilled a drink on you too.
And then you spilled a drink.
But my drink was water.
It doesn't matter.
You were convinced I had a margarita.
My left cheek was cold and soaked all night.
It was probably re-wet the sticky spot from Brian's drink.
Well, it was on this side, and then Brian's was on this side. So like,
okay.
the whole side of my like hair was like sticking together.
Oh no!
From like the stickiness of the margarita and my hairspray. And then luckily I had black on, so no stains.
Still looks cute.
Yeah, still got it, but I had to fix myself a few times.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, Brian Butler is our manager, and he was super excited about his guy getting the call on Monday. He had a lot of faith in him. He had a ton of great wins. I think he was 8-1. Was it coming into this fight? Coming off of 2 big wins. And LFA, I think. So to get the call up was like a big opportunity, and he was able to deliver. So that's always fun. And then another guy who got the call up, I think on a week's notice, was the guy who fought Ogden.
Oh, who was that?
Was it Bogdan?
Bogdan Guskov.
Yeah, Bogdan Guskov.
Yeah.
Ogden, I mean.
Yeah, so his opponent, Billy Alekana. He... the short notice step and ended up losing the fight, but still, it's you can't say no to that opportunity because it really gets you in the door, and if you do a solid for the UFC, they'll return it usually.
Yeah, for sure. He actually fought someone that we know, Jarrell, the kid named Jarrell on his, I think it's Jarrell Simmons. He fought him and got a big head kick knockout. And so I was like, ooh, goddamn. And then when I saw that he filled in short notice, I'm like, oh, well, at least something good came out of that horrible night for our friend. But yeah, it just goes to show you that you never know when that opportunity could knock. So all the guys out in these regional promotions, fighting contract to contract, one fight at a time, should stay ready because at any point you can get the call. And he almost got something going. Like he did a good
first, yeah.
In the first few minutes. What did you think about the tap though at the end. Like I was kind of unsure why the fight was still going.
It was hard because I feel like we have a little bit of a delay, and we also can't hear the broadcast. We can't really see the replay. So I wasn't necessarily sure if he, in fact, like maybe he was like, hey, get off me, the round's over. Or if he was like, oh, I can't breathe and I'm tapping. Or if he tapped like just on or right before the bell or right after. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but yeah, he may have lucked out on that one. But it was, it eventually, ended with a submission in the second round.
Yeah, he was able to get right back to it. Yeah. So, good job, Bogdan. Bogdan Gustaf, Anthony Smith. Did they ever fight? They haven't fought.
I feel like they did. I feel like we made this joke before.
I think we joked that they should fight. In which case, we would not know who is who. I mean, he would also have to.
No, they never fought.
Yeah, he would also have to, jump up and. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Anthony would like a nice send-off fight. I'm sure he's thinking about it a little bit, and maybe we can get that to happen at some point in the next few years. We get Anthony Smith versus Anthony Smith, Bizarro Anthony Smith. And that would be a fun one for the judges because they just get confused the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, we should put them in the same color fight kit to
absolutely
see what the scorecards look like at
just
the
give
end.
them different cut of short.
Yeah. Bogdan gets like a submission. They raise Anthony Smith's hand.
Wait a minute.
Which one was it? I just looked at the replay. And we should probably talk about the girl fight, the one lone girl fight on the card too. Karol Rosa. Hossa, sorry. I thought she was gonna run away with this.
You know
match.
what? I thought that this was really gonna be a more challenging fight for Perez than it was. And I mean, it wasn't that there wasn't adversity. It wasn't that that Hossa wasn't, putting stuff together. But the way that Perez was so aggressive, and her speed and the tenacity for the takedowns, it just really made Karol look slow and look like she wasn't doing as much as she actually was.
Yeah, and then when she was stuck on her back, there wasn't a lot of urgency there too.
Yeah.
Maybe Perez was just like really heavy on top, was good at trapping her and keeping her down there and scoring and getting control time, but Karol Rosa or Jose, she was just kind of content down there. And it's almost like she thought she did enough with the leg kicks. And personally, I wouldn't have been mad if she got the last 2 rounds. I thought she did enough work damage-wise to negate Perez's control, but at the same time, the control was a little longer. It looked more dominant. Perez was landing on the outside before she got the takedowns. So, especially when it's leg kicks, you can't rely on that because it's not as obvious to not just the fans, but to the judges that you're doing a lot of damage there.
It's funny when optics of a fight come into play.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we looked at the stats without seeing the fight, we'd be like, oh, how did this person win?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the fight as a whole, sometimes the judges, I feel like things stick out to them more. And that could have been the aggression, the energy. It just looked like Ailin was trying to finish the fight more. She was being more assertive. She was getting after it more. And there is something to that, the way a fight looks. What's catching the judge's attention.
Yeah, and Jose's leg kicks are really strong. We've seen that in her last fights, even her losses. She destroys people's legs, but she has to start adding more to her arsenal in order to really win these rounds and even get these knockouts. If you start kicking in the legs, you can get a big reaction. You have to fake the kick to the leg and go upstairs, whether it's a punch, whether it's a kick, whether it's even faking, getting a reaction and getting a takedown. She has to mix it up more. Right now, now. She seems really heavily stacked on like the calf kick range and stab kicks to the belly, but she doesn't do much else.
Yeah, I think it would be a good thing to just start mixing volume and just start practicing following up combinations with another combination. So just so the judges can really see a little bit more aggression, a little bit more pressure, just something else, because I feel like she's presented herself the same way in every fight, and people are like have started to figure it out.
Yeah, they figure it out. They wade through it. It's easier to play off a kick to the leg that you're not going to be able to walk the next morning from, as opposed to a huge punch to the face that makes your head swing backwards. Yeah. So good job, Perez. I thought she fought a really smart fight.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. Every time she got a takedown, the crowd went crazy.
Well, yes.
Because each butt cheek moved at a different time.
She is a fan favorite.
Yeah, she has she has all the physics going on her butt when she gets the takedown, and I don't know if she's able to control it or not once she gets there, but it's moving. It's doing its job.
She knows her brand. She knows how to work those assets.
I think it's just convenient. It's like, hey, I got to get heavy on this hip anyway, so I'm just going to loosen the rest of my butt while I engage this side of my hip, and the crowd gets a show.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, she's really smart with it. And hey, we saw her at the bar.
Oh, she's
afterwards.
So sweet.
She was walking fine.
Yeah.
So I guess it didn't do that much. But also, she promised that if we teach her some MMA moves, so she'll teach us some twerk moves.
Yes. We love collaborations here.
It was great because I started saying my dumb thing like, hey, can you teach us how to twerk? And she's like, oh, sorry, hold on one second. And she
Translator.
she brings over her male translator, and I'm like, ugh. Now
I'm sure he has had to translate that before.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
He didn't care. But it was still like I was a little more conscious of what I was asking now that there is a man present. Whoops. Anyway, my period is super heavy right now. If I tried to twerk, I'd start queefing all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, tell her that I said that. You know, there's certain things you don't like to say when men are present, but we'll tell you guys because you subscribe, and
you're welcome.
that's what you get. You get it inside
all of it.
The girls' locker room. That's what this is. Well, is there anything else, or are we all broken down for 311? We don't have fights until February 1st.
What?
I know.
Well, we have BKFC.
Ooh.
That can quench our bloodlust for next weekend.
Yeah.
I'll be in Philadelphia. I leave Tuesday.
Oh,
I'm going so far away, and it's snowing in Philly. It's freaking snowing. I don't do well in extreme weather.
Dude, how did I forget? Jeremy is fighting, and Beck. Yeah, so our homies Jeremy Stevens and Beck Rawlings are fighting on BKFC. It's going to be a huge fight card.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think they're going to blow the roof off. Honestly, I'm really excited to be there.
Yeah.
So I'll be there supporting Beck.
You have to update the YouTube and keep track
of
all your adventuring. Yes. And I can't wait to see all the BTS you get from BKFC.
Yes, ma'am.
And guys, make sure that you join, because if you join, you will be entered into our raffle, which we can do after the February 1st card. So that'll be fun too. So make sure you join, support the pod, and we'll send you a little gift as a reward for your support if you win.
Otherwise, you'll just have to get into the next raffle, and better luck next time. But we really appreciate your support. You guys are amazing, and you keep us going.
You keep us young.
Yes.
Younger looking than some fighters.
Be nice.
Bye. Go to Duelbits.